So, this is the third of the three presentations before the break. Don't worry about the time, because if you look at the timetable very carefully, you'll see that there is a 20-minute delay built into the timetable, because we anticipated we'd have a problem this morning getting the AV working, which indeed we did. So, but we like all good Jews, we have found resourcing ways around the problem. So I want to introduce Beny Maissner. Beny needs no introduction. A favourite and long-standing attendee at our conventions. Thank you very much for doing this, Beny. I know Beny was a bit worried about the timing, and I know that he's got a presentation here which is much longer than the time that we've been able to give him. So I apologise to Beny for that, but I know that what he's going to be able to give will nevertheless be engaging, and indeed the title is how to turn an unengaged Kehilla into a singing congregation.
Yes. My dear friends, this is a presentation. No clapping, no applause. Among the many PowerPoints that I prepared for the ACC or CA, I needed to many times split it in 2 or 3 sessions. And when Geraldine asked me to do something like this, she said, don't talk about yourself, but talk about your experience. So this is not an academic presentation, it's just a personal journey of 41 years in one place, but also connected, which I call it from the Stiebel to the davening of Bnei Akiva as a youth, and conservative synagogue in Philadelphia for about 13 or 14 years in the most complicated musical program there with an organist who davened on the organ when I was improvising Nusach. And then being in a place which is a flagship of the Reform movement, and as a joke, don't quote me, my Jews don't know or didn't know that they were not Reformed. Because the Nusach are used always as the charoset that held the brick together. Sometimes the charoset, which was the nusach, was larger than the melody or the incredible choral compositions. So first of all, you know that it doesn't seat 3,000 people, but it seats 1,200 people. So it took me about at least 1 decade out of the 4 decades of being in a Reform, classical Reform synagogue, which one of the rabbis, Dov Marmor, was a brilliant man that I ever met in my life, said, you know, the congregation is be read, be sung, and be preached. Which means people sit on their hands and then be sang Shema Israel and listen to the Avinu Malkeinu of Barbara Streisand, of course, Barbara Streisand. But really, this is a very personal journey. I should have bought my 17-inch computer, but it's too heavy, so Russell will help me to put the thing. So that's the front of the synagogue. This is the main sanctuary, which is on high holidays, more 100 people on the top. And this is my own first few wording. You know, I don't like to read in English, so if there are a couple of places that there's a script there, like last year when I did my lecture about the art of improvisation in Chazanut, I will ask for you to glance or to read some of those things, but it really is just an introduction to what I want to say in general about this presentation. It so happened that we don't have Shabbat anymore, so I don't go down there, and in the summer when I can go to early services at 6 o'clock, I can still drive home. But when I have to walk on Shabbat morning, it's like 55 to an hour walking. And it was so in August that my successor, David Rosen, asked me to come, and I highlighted and I edited a few pieces. The first few ones, we don't need a keyboard, but Geraldine told me, let the people walk away with at least 1 or 2 songs. So then Russell was kind enough to put all the songs that you will see here on
the resource center.
If you want any of them, but you also see a few of those that I'm going to ask Charlie to play. So let's go to the next one. I highlighted some of this thing into theory or some kind of presentation. So anybody just at random, you people could just read just some of the highlights that I put there. I mean, it's important, the bonding power of melody and prayer within the congregation is profound, creating a shared spiritual experience that transcends individual differences. And then the categories: an emotional response, cultural response, rhythmic unity, embodying tradition, encouraging participation, and amplifying the sacred. The combination of melody and prayer implies the sacredness of the word being spoken. Rabbi Kehilla used to say, Benny still doesn't speak English, so when I'm in front of people I can only speak in German or in Hebrew. Just look at it and then we'll continue to the next one. And you gotta put the music on. There's an hour and a half. There's an hour and a half presentation, so I will have to also skip and move here. So there's a good opening. In the first few slides, you'll see kind of nigunim that I used selectively, not the Godfather, but the Bob of Nigun. And the next one, next slide. The next slide. You see? Shirat HaAsavim by Naomi Shemer. I start die, da, die, da, 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 die, da, die, and I walk around and I make them participate. It's a general, it's not about me, it's a general personal journey of many years, which took a long time. And this is, of course, I forget who wrote this, but Doug, it's a Friday night nigun that I started. Next slide. I even use Shabbat Shkalim in a Reform synagogue. Tal and Geshem and Akdamut. So you understand why our people, Yael Splensky, my dear Queen Rabbi, doesn't like me to say that, but I really feel that Holy Blossom, through my tenure there, really didn't know, or they didn't know what they didn't know that they're not reformed in terms of practice. I used this nigun as a child. I was with Lev Glantz 10 years between the age of 10 and the age of 10 and 20. I used to go to Lev Glantz. I lived with him literally every Shabbat. He lived also a block away from us. And believe it or not, as rhythmically as it's complicated, they finally got it after 4 or 5 years. Only a Shabbat Shkalim. Next slide. I'm going faster because I want to finish to have a break. Okay, let's play this. This was last Shabbat that I did in August. Simple nusach in a major, not like in most synagogues that forget it by the minor.
You haven't changed. Baruch Hailad v'gayam l'netzach, Baruch Oder Masih, Baruch Shemo, Nishlachot v'nishmot negaderecha v'nishabechacha, v'nifa'erecha v'nashki shimcha, v'namnichacha malkeinu Eloheinu, Yachid Chei ha'olamim, מלך משובח ומפואר, עד שמו הגדול, ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך מהולל.
Look what I did now.
Many of you remember this.
It's a Beny Maissner Next slide.
Nun rachum Adonai. Erech, Apayim, Ugdol, Chased.
רחמיו על כל מסעיו.
יודוך אדוני כל מעשיך, וחסידיך יברכוך.
גבור מלכותך יאמרו, וגבורתך ידברו.
הודיע לבני אדם גבורותיו, וכבוד הדר מלכותו.
מלכותך מלכות כל עמים, וממשלתך לכל דור ודור. הללויה, 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 הללויה. את עצמות יוסך.
So, this was an example. With my computer I can move forward much faster. So we do Hallelujah, then he may sing, or then not, his arrangement, Hallelujah. And then, for some reason in our Reformed prayer book, I need to start with Ha'el B'Tatzumot. So I learned Nehishmarat Kolcha Dekalibach, and I adapted it to Ha'el B'Tatzumot Ozecha, in the middle up to Shochen Ad, and then we went back to the Nigun. So the Nigunim were not like one song and then the rabbi read, but it was like woven in, especially with the Ava Rabba in the middle. You'll see also we sing Ava Rabba Aftanu, and then in the middle one Avinu Malkeinu. I daven a little bit into the Kalibach thing. So they're always like a roller coaster between Nusach and Tefillah. So just continue.
Next slide.
הגדול בכבוד שמך, הגיבור, הגיבור אל הנצח, והנורא לנורתך. המלך היושב על כיסא רם, כיסא רם ונישא, לילה 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 צדיקים באדוני לישרים נאווה תהילה בפי שערים תתעלה.
You can sing along. צדיקים גברה ולשון חסידים תלרומה ובקרב קדושים ובמקדות רבבות עמך בית ישראל תמנה. It needs to be an hour and a half, which I do for my congregation, but we'll skip. Let's go to the next slide. אור חדש על ציון תהיר, אור חדש על ציון תהיר, ונזכה כולנו ונזכה כולנו Okay, then I go in the middle, I'll just demonstrate. Then I continue. Not as long as Nusach took yesterday, but a little bit of kind of smidget of Nusach, which connects to okay, then I do it in whatever key, I forget what I do, in E minor, but then I need to get to the G major, Shema Yisrael, And my successor, David Rosen, never understood how I'll do it.
So what happened, Benny?
So I went down one note, right? And then from there I got into the G major, because when I had the piano, you know, it mattered a lot, because just tell you an example that at one point I davened in F, which will go in a couple of minutes, this the whole bit, and then we're going to B flat minor, the Zilbert's Kadosh Atah. So, and yet one year I didn't go. Kadosh Atah, so it goes from F into B. In 1 year I did a mistake because my mind wasn't there. After the service, somebody came over to me and said, "You made a mistake. You didn't sing it like every year," because I was so used to the connection. And my uncle told me once, the great giant and the legend in his own head, Israel Alter, that that when you sing a Hashkivenu, you need to know the key of the Shamru in order to do a transition directly from one to another. Not to start all of a sudden to sing something in F, and all of a sudden you start the... Okay, so we need to skip
Benny, what happened in the Reform movement when for 2 years Karbach was not allowed to be sung? So what did you do? Your things are all Karbach. What did you do instead of Karbach?
I don't want to take 5 minutes to explain to you. My synagogue never touched that subject. I knew Karlibach.
Me too, obviously.
It wasn't an issue.
Next slide. Next slide.
Okay. So here's another example, Charlie. I need you. Yeah. So here are 3 Michamochas for Shavuot, for Pesach, and for...
I've got the music, I just have to find it not ready. I've got it, Benny.
Okay. So please sing with me, because whatever, Ezrat Avotenu, the rabbi always read into the Michamocha, and then we started to do the different Michamochas for each occasion. Here we go. Time to sing all of it, right? Here we go. So,
First now.
The next one.
Wait.
Okay. Here we go. Sukkot. Example. We don't have time to sing all of the stuff as I was teaching about it. We have to just smidgetly touch everything, because there's somewhat more sophisticated stuff coming. Which is not the DVDs. The next one. Okay. So here. I'm going to ask you to play. Kehilla, listen. Here's what happens spontaneously. So I used to go after the Kehilla, and I would Baruch atah Hashem, HaKadosh. Don't play, just immediately I came into Ata v'chatanu mikol ha'amim Ahaveta otanu v'asita b'anu. Ephraim Sapir alav shalom gave me that in Salt Lake Synagogue, and I use that all the time. On Yom Kippur I use something much more timbre and dignified, but the Sholos V'Galim we used to go into it. But don't play it because you have the music on the sheets if you want it. But before I retired, I took out I presented a CD, Twist on Liturgy. So here's a recording of the Twist of Liturgy. You can play it. Okay, so let's do it with that, because I have a beautiful recording here. You can find it on my website. In fact, I gave Amalia 2 terabytes of my collection of 40 years to be archived in the Israel National Library. But so here's it. The recording of it was very jazzy, but let's sing it together.
Wait a minute.
1, 2, 3. עלינו קראת, ותיתן לנו שבלוקנו. And then I went into the next one. I was a sinner for good reasons, because my congregation loved Solzim. קדשנו במצוותיך, ותחכנו בתורתך, סבנו. אוקיי? ואכילנו בשמונה גלויות, סוף שבת חמדו, וספנגר, ונכופת לקדש שמך ברוך אתה השם, לקדש ישראל, והרמנים. It's a little smidget. Next text. We need to jump because this is just to show you who I once was. I signed my name now Beny has been instead of Beny Maissner. Next slide. It's not important. This is really a beautiful melody that I found on a CD that Dudu Fisher did one time, and it calls Moshe's nigunim. Okay, so I used it to another Shirna. You don't play, you don't play. Let's go to the next one. Next step. Okay, so here another example we don't have to play. The end of the Hallel, I use Bergson. I heard it once at the ordination of certification of the Cantors. Those days Cantors were not ordained, so it was only certified. Baruch haba b'shem Hashem, Baruch haba b'shem. And see again, it won't play. And here is an Ana Adonai. I'm going to ask you. Okay, no. We don't have time to play. Okay, the next one. The next. Okay, here we go. So you see some altar things here, but I never sang altar. I only studied altar in Kachko before high holidays, like as if I didn't study it years ago. But I always reviewed it, and then I used a formula in which altar or Genscher, you'll see a Genscher in a minute. I used Genscher, and I used Meloch Baminkowski, and it was Gerovish, Zochem Zikaron Tov B'Fanech, and the Reform Synagogue. So I used to do and in between, Stephen Glass wrote this beautiful melody to Salachti. So I took it, and it became the major theme of the in-betweens. Like like, you know, venema, 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 venema. So my choir sang it in unison. The first time the congregation joined, and then the choir sang it in harmony. Let's sing it together with the play. So here we go. Smart enough, he didn't always start with the F, but he started with the major third. Next one. I told you, let's look at the next text.
It's here somewhere. Beautiful.
So I took a melody. davening. Congregation. So the congregation always was, and then I jumped in and I did the refrain of Chazalut. So it wasn't like a song that we sing and then the next piece is the rabbi speaking or another piece of Chazon. It's almost like a roller coaster. Next one.
And it gets them involved.
My organist in Philadelphia was a Unitarian Jew. And I asked him, Howard, what is a Unitarian? He says, the closest to Reform synagogue, to Reform Judaism. This man knew music like nobody else. His contrapuntal davening with me was the most incredible. He retired and I left Germantown Jewish Center, the birthplace of the Chabura, with Zalman Schachter and Arthur Green, Siftei Emes, I mean, really the leaders. So, this is a choral piece, which I sang for many years there, because every day, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, there was a different, what's the text of the Kehilla? So, listen to this really beautiful melody. The congregation sang it with me. What did you do with it?
Oh yeah, almost missed it.
of this every year. The most incredible is it's a core piece, as you see, but I just took a little fragment of it and showed it to you. So we need to continue because we need to
What was
play.
his name? Beny. Beny?
So now,
Benny?
here we go. So, the rest of it, yes.
The name of your organist.
The name.
What was his name?
Howard Gamble. יש לך את כל המנוסקריפט
I
שלו.
know, I just wanted you to put it.
So Kehilla, here's another, we don't need to do anything here. I just want to show you that even in the conservative, traditional conservative synagogue, the rabbi said, not all the shofrot, machuyot, zichronot has to be chanted, but the psukim are most important. So, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני גואל אברהם ונאמר, לא הביט בנו יעקב ולאברהם וישראל, על אשר אלוהיו עמו, ותרועה למלך בו ונאמר. In a what view, ויהי בישורון מלך ויתאסף אשרי עם. I chanted in the same key. 3, 4, 2, 1, 3. Okay, that's enough. And then I continue. You see, I wrote in Hebrew, Misheberach, Adonai Malach, so I should know which one I should sing. כי לאדוני המלוכה יושב בגויים ונאמר אדוני בלעיות לבש אף תיכון ותימור ונאמר. And here I had in my congregation, of course, we did Lewandowski. But when I was a cappella, I went to Amalia. Okay, and then I continued into the next line. And here's another example of I did all these things, but when I went to, you see here's a beautiful thing of Israel Alta, which I sing sometimes and sometimes I improvise. But if you start, Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Tekam, Veshovar Gadol, Lecherutenu. And then, בקרת בזורנו, או בקרת בזורנו, מבין הגויים. And everybody came in, and all of you know this part, but when it came to Alienu, Vahabi, a different key, of course, Vahabienu, Letzion, Ibeberina. ולירושלים בית מקדשך בשמחת עולם. People know what it is. So I improvise right into that thing. And וביום שמחתכם ובמועדכם ובעודכם חשבכם. But I mentioned before when I argued with it was Nathan, right? Who davened Friday night? The guy with the gargle.
The Reverend. Oh, daddy boy.
The Godfather.
Yeah.
You need to have an association which folk melody you're using. And a unison or song has to have its own validity, not just to throw in another melody. So, this is to me sacrilegious and also not intelligent. So, but I do want to say that the piece before Hayom Ta'alseinu, which I wrote myself, and we finished all that, I put the Shir L'Shalom. Hayom הזה תביאנו שמחים אסתסיל לבניין שלם, הכתוב בתורתך. So they may not know which, but they know in a subconscious that it is somewhere Israeli, of course, because everybody was Lachan Shir Shalom. So I did that one, and then we got into the like the next one.
5 minutes, Benny.
5 minutes, less than 5 minutes.
Oh, where's Carnival?
Took the day off. Imagine, like this. Imagine the Reform synagogue we have Leil Orach Din. So I use a secunda melody, you'll see that. I mean, not the notes themselves. Then the congregationists continue. Now we have 3 minutes, I'm going to jump to the end. There are a lot more examples of improvisation, and putting not improvisation, I would say that we had three crowns. The crown of melody, the crown of Tefillah, and the crown of sophisticated choral arrangement. Much more, and some of it were not atonal, but very modern contemporary. But when Jackie Mendelssohn came once as a guest, as a resident cantor for Shabbat, I put the choir in the congregation among hundreds of people, and he said, I didn't know that Rabbi Solomon's he says,
Lots of tunes to make.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. I want to jump to the end to show you just one last number. Go to the very end.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Okay. No, the next one. I just want to show you a call number which the congregation treasures, because from 1979 until 2000 we sang it every Rosh Hashanah and the Slichot. It goes like this. Congregation. Shirat Ava Lefanecha 5/8. Shirat Ava Lefanecha. Yashbiru Kochevei Shachar
is an example of how. By the way, it's published by Transcontinental for string quartet, piano, cantor. Anyway, I told you it has to be on regular hard. Thank you for. I just wanted to prove that it takes time, number one, to educate a congregation, because you have to plant receptors of trust in the congregation. And as an anecdote, a funny story, that at a renewal, after $30 million renewal, all the rabbis came, and I said to one of the rabbis, I worked with an army of assistant, associated, and senior rabbis, and you always let me do whatever I wanted. Nobody ever challenged it. So he looks at me and smiles and says, did you have a choice?
I want to say thank you to Beny. And I think what that proves is it's always worth persevering with the technology.